Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review, and was not planning on babbling about this one today, although I was looking forward to it because I'm talking about the Night Flight Orchestra, and they have a new album out called Give Us the Moon. They did a little preview EP here a few months ago, which I got, and then I never listened to it, never put it on, but I've been a fan of this band like since their very first album, and I remember when I first heard it, I can't remember how I became about to hear it, but I remember seeing it recommended on somebody else's channel, which is why I always ask for people to like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because if it wasn't for me watching somebody else babbling about music, I would not have found this band. So it's kind of why I'm doing this, just to, this is not one of these bands that's out there that a whole ton of people know about. So if I can lead a few more people that like this style of music to this band, then my job is done. It's really all I'm doing this for. But back to this. It was started as a side project from the lead singer of Soilwork. I'm not a fan of Soilwork. I wasn't, I should say. It was a little bit outside of the music I would normally listen to. And I'm trying to remember now. I should always look up stuff before I start babbling, but I hardly ever do. I think it was the guitar player from Arch Enemy. Could be wrong. As always, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that one. But it was a side project started by them, although completely different than either one of those two bands' style of music. I've heard them described as a mixture of hard rock and ABBA. And that's a pretty accurate description. It's an 8-piece band. It's got Bjorn Stride, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I probably did that wrong because I always pronounce names wrong. But it's got a very good, warm-sounding singing voice. And because I did go back and get some Soilwork albums, I ended up kind of liking them. But the style of music singing he's doing in that completely a lot harder edge. This is actually singing in this, and he's got a very nice, warm, melodic sounding voice. And as far as the music goes, a lot of background vocals, a lot of keyboards, even though it's got rock, and it's got a little, almost it reminds me of another band I just kind of popped in my head. It's like late 70s, early 80s, even through the late 80s, Blue Oyster Cult. They had that kind of feel, kind of the same thing here, with a lot more, melody and vocals going on, because they do have two background vocalists. I'm not going to try to pronounce all these names because they're all like Swedish, and I have trouble just pronouncing English names, let alone Swedish names. So, maybe that's why they sound like ABBA, because ABBA is obviously a Swedish band, but. Anyway, I believe this is their 7th album to date now. I have gotten every single one, and I really enjoy the style of music they do. However, the last couple have been kind of like formula for them, which is to say they don't sound a whole lot like others. This is one of those bands that's hard to compare to. That's why when I said Blue Oyster Cult, that just kind of just popped into my head just now as I was talking. The ABBA comparison is because they have the melodies, and they have the two female background singers, and they have that hard rock with the melody over the top of it. So, but there are a lot of keyboards, a lot of synth going on. But the last two albums, like I said, were kind of formula for them. They're starting to fall into that. This one, they stepped out of their own wheelhouse and started experimenting even with their own sound and expanding it a little bit more. Like I said, I'm not going to go through every single song because that would take me forever, but I think people lose interest if I talk that long. But there's a couple cool ones I just wanted to mention. Way to Spend the Night, I thought, was really anthemic sounding. It's got a big chorusy feel to it. One that's a little bit different than anything they've ever done was one called Paloma. Had a little bit more of an emotional feel to it than a lot of their songs are big and kind of bombastic with a very big, and I keep mentioning the synth and keyboard, but the synth and keyboard have a very big hook to the songs, and vocally and melodically, as far as their vocals go, they have all hooks there, but there's always some type of keyboard hook going on in the background as well. Get a little bit more rocky with the song Cosmic Tide, and that one is where I really started noticing, even with the singing, a lot of times you'll notice sometimes you'll notice with bands where English is not their main language, you hear a little bit of the accent going on, but he actually sings like perfectly clear. You can understand every word this guy says. I've actually, not too long, I think the middle of summer, I was watching a concert of theirs on YouTube. I can't remember, it was one of the festivals they did, and was really impressed with how well they are, perform live as well. So they've definitely got their act together. I think this has become more of a main project. I know they're doing a lot more bigger festivals, and they're doing a lot more touring. 7 albums into this, it's become more, I've heard more of this band than I've heard of, well, at least Bjorn, that's how you say it, maybe, I don't know, his main album, but anyway, I was really impressed with this, and this one has more of the songs overall have more of a theatrical feel to them, almost like they're telling a story. I don't think this is a concept album, but it kind of feels like it is at certain points, and yeah, title song was actually a good one, and there's one called Shooting Velvet, which actually I think that was on the EP that I didn't listen to. That one turned out to be a really cool, catchy one too. There's a little bit of an intro on here, but it's only like half a minute long, and it was just like talking and stuff. I didn't understand the purpose of that, but a lot of bands like to do intros, whatever. Could have done without that, but the rest of it, pretty good. I actually put this on, listened to it a couple times through. My kids were in the room and asking what I was listening to because it wasn't something I would normally listen to, and they thought it was pretty cool too. So who knows? Maybe it's something you can listen to with the whole family. I don't know, but anyway, as always, feel free to share your thoughts and what you think of these guys. Anything you want to add in that I've left out, feel free. And like I mentioned before, like, share, subscribe, keep this music alive, because I really can't wait to hear more stuff from these guys, even though this one's going to be in my CD player for a while too. Although, did a review of the Helicopters, and that one's in the player right now. So this one might come back after I'm done listening to the Helicopters, but check that one out too. And until next time, we'll see you.